I'm Eddie Muller. Welcome back to Noir Alley. Today I'm pleased to present yet another TCM debut of a film restored by my Film Noir Foundation. I hope we can keep this going, although pretty soon it's going to cost more to restore a film like this than it cost to make it. Case in point, High Tide, a 1947 thriller from Poverty Row's Monogram Pictures. It combines the talents of some Hollywood up-and-comers with a few folks on the backsides of careers that had flourished in the 1930s. For starters, there's the star of the show, Lee Tracy. Back in the pre-code era, Tracy was a fixture on American movie screens. He essentially created the archetype of the fast-talking, hard-drinking, scoop-chasing news hound, a character he played in dozens of movies. It began in 1928 when he originated the role of Hildy Johnson, savvy hero of the smash stage play The Front Page. In the 1931 film version, however, Tracy was passed over for the part in favor of Pat O'Brien. He made up for the slight by essentially playing Hildy Johnson throughout the 30s, his distinctive voice and machine gun delivery making him hugely popular, especially when MGM put him opposite Jean Harlow in a couple of classics, Bombshell and Dinner at 8. Things went haywire, however, in 1934 when Tracy was making Viva Villa in Mexico for Howard Hawks. The hard-drinking part of Tracy's persona was on full display when he reportedly relieved himself from the balcony of his hotel onto a passing military parade. The scandal did him less harm than historical accounts attest, but by the 40s, Tracy was on the skids professionally. Alcohol was eroding his brash boyishness, and few movies retained the 30s rat-a-tat delivery of dialogue. Well, if any actor embodied the new 40s style of stoic, tight-lipped tough guy, it's Tracy's co-star in High Tide, Don Castle. Tracy could spew a screwball soliloquy in the time it takes Castle to say, "Hi, how are you?" We got a gander at Castle's taciturn persona last month when I showed him in another Monogram B, The Guilty. Both films were produced by Jack Rather, a Texas oil man who'd come to Hollywood specifically to boost the sagging career of his college pal, Don Castle. The actor had played nothing but bit parts during the decade, but Rather bumped him up to leading man status, albeit in some pretty low-rent shows. Both The Guilty and High Tide lack the polished patina of big-budget studio films, but they're not hurting for creativity. Director John Reinhardt and cameraman Henry Sharp concoct moody set pieces while pushing the pace, challenging viewers to keep up with the plot's twists and turns. The script, by Robert Presnell Sr., with additional dialogue by veteran writer Peter Milne, is based on a story by Raoul Whitfield, a somewhat mysterious writer who died 2 years before this film was made. Although virtually unknown today, Whitfield was a fixture at influential Black Mask magazine in the 20s and early 30s. He started out writing aviation and adventure stories, but turned to crime under the influence of Dashiell Hammett, eventually producing more than 90 stories for Black Mask, which made him, along with Hammett, John Carroll Daly, and Earl Stanley Gardner, one of the mainstays on the magazine's masthead. In fact, Whitfield's 1931 Death in a Bowl was the first mystery novel featuring a Los Angeles-based detective. It was not Whitfield, however, who came up with this film's fantastic framing device. It was probably Robert Presnell who devised the gimmick that kick-starts this film and gives it its name. By 1947, thanks to hits like Double Indemnity and Mildred Pierce, it was almost de rigueur for crime movies to start with a dramatic flourish and then flash back to fill in the story. High Tide, as you're about to see, takes this trope to a whole nother level. Also in the cast, Julie Bishop, Annabelle Shaw, and Douglas Walton, whom noir fans will recognize as Lindsay Marriott in Murder, My Sweet. Keeping tabs on the double crosses and dead bodies is ubiquitous flatfoot Regis Toomey as Inspector O'Haffey. I'm telling you up front, his name is O'Haffey with 2 F's, so you won't be distracted thinking the guy's name is O'Happy. which I thought the first couple of times I watched this. Lastly, a caution. There will come a point when you think you've missed something, a moment of disorientation when a scene starts abruptly and we're not sure what just happened. Welcome to the wonderful world of B movies. There is something missing, 2 pages of script to be exact, but we have no way of knowing if the deletion was an artistic or an economic decision, or a mistake that couldn't be fixed. It wasn't uncommon on Poverty Row for producers who'd fallen behind schedule to rip pages out of the script to regain time. It just typically wasn't done in the middle of a scene. It's only one of the things that makes this film unique. From 1947, High Tide.